children at all cost, that it wasn't good, that she knows there must be an explanation for why the woman brought her daughter all the way from wherever they came from to come and work with her, but she doesn't think it's appropriate for her to do that. And in the comment section, you could see that people were bashing her for doing that. Firstly, a lot of people said that she can't be putting a child's face on the internet without the child's permission. And other people had some things to say about the fact that it's a normal thing for children to help their mothers. A lot of them did that growing up. What do you think about these views of people and, of course, the video itself?
Okay, so thank you very much. So first, I want to first appreciate the effort of that person in terms of speaking
Okay.
out against taking action against one form of abuse, which is
Mm.
more like child labor. Because if you could remember last week, for my definition of child abuse, we said that anything that endangers the health, the survival, the development, the well-being, and then the safety of that child. So if you look at that, the action at the time it was done very, very early in the morning when the child is
Mm.
expected to still be asleep. You know, does
Okay.
I mean, at that hall that we're getting that
Be
child
asleep or be in school,
will
right?
be asleep at that time. So
Mm.
that act in itself, which was carried out by the mother, is not LD for that child at that particular time.
Okay.
It's not LD for that child. So it's because there's a thin line between child work and child labor. Yes,
Okay.
children are allowed to provide support to their parents. Even by
Mm.
our laws in the country, the children have
Mm.
responsibility. I mean, towards enhancing, towards ensuring that putting the family together, they have a level of
Mm.
responsibility. But this the responsibility should not hinder or affect their own development. It should not affect their health and their survival. So that getting a child to work with you at that particular time is not healthy for that child. So it can be categorized as child labor because if that child had come to work with that mother at around 7 a.m., 8 a.m., then we can say it's a child work because in that at that time
Mm.
the child is not doing it at the odd hour when the child is supposed to be sleeping. A child is supposed to be in bed maybe 9 p.m. and then till the next morning maybe 6 or 5
Mm.
a.m. depending on. So that time is too early for that child, even though you want to teach that child. But secondly, while I said I appreciate the effort of that person who did that, but also putting that video on the social media is totally wrong. So on the other
What
part,
face exactly? So
the
what
face
face
of
exactly are you saying is wrong?
the face of the child, the face of the
Why
child,
is it
putting it.
wrong? She's not putting the face of the child because the child is a criminal. She's just trying to show people that
Yeah,
the child is doing something she's not supposed to be doing.
yes, also because she's when you put that face to that place, the dignity of the child is affected. The integrity of
Okay.
that child and the mother too.
Mm.
There are ways that you go about managing cases without letting it affect the dignity and also not revealing the identity of the family involved. In fact, there are cases that even when you want to talk about the parents, the faces of the faces of these parents because
Frozen. For that reason, we can't hear you. Okay. Hello?
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I can
Can you
hear
hear me
you.
now?
I can hear you now.
So you cannot afford to show the face of that parent because you know that the parents, once you show the face of that parent, people are able to identify you, the child you are talking about, even in abusive situation.
Mm.
You may have to hide the identity of that parent, even in abusive situations, because you know that showing the face of that parent or the abuser in some cases will link will give out information about the child that is being abused. So you have to, it's a total, when managing cases, there are a whole lot of things that you think about. around the child. You know, when you are protecting children, there are
Mm.
things that you must not do and you should not do. So in
Mm.
this case, this person totally goofed in terms of revealing the identity of that face. She could have done, even while posting the video, she could even have blurred the face of the parents and the child. What is important is that a message was passed. People will have seen that it's a dark environment, and nobody will have been able to place identity or identify who the parents whose parents or which mother or which woman
Mm.
was being scolded, or which child was being scolded along with her mother. You know, this child may grow up
Mm.
eventually seeing this video on the internet. You know, the internet, I mean, keeps all these things. The child may grow up in 10 years' time,
Mm.
comes back to the internet, and then finds this video, and then maybe it may either encourage the child or even make the child feel little or have a low self-esteem, because as a person, as a
Mm.
particular time, the child may not even want people to know
Mm.
about her past, but her past is being put on the
Yeah.
internet already now. I mean her
Yeah.
present, which will be her past in the future, is presently being put on the
Mm.
internet because somebody does not understand the ethics of protecting children. So that is where she goofed. She ought not to put that out
Mm.
there.
Okay.
But in terms
Okay.
of the heart,
Mm.
in terms of the heart
Yeah.
done by the mother, it is not also right for the mother to engage that child at that time. We make sacrifices just for our children to be able to say, okay,
Yes.
maybe the child could be seated. I mean, it could be. I mean, it doesn't mean that the mother cannot find a safe place to keep this child for her to go
The
and
child.
then
What
come
if
back.
the mother did not have any choice? But let's come back from this break. King Olawale, thank you, Olakunle, thank you so much for joining us. We have to take a break now. We'll come back and I'll ask more questions. And of course, Lagos, if you have more questions, 0888 51864, or just call us via the telephone line 0201 271 0242, 0201 271 0243. Share your thoughts. We'll be right back. When the time is 12:50 on the clock, and of course, we are talking to King Olakunle Sani, who is helping us to understand a video that went viral on social media about a woman who posted a video of another woman and her child working in the wee hours of the morning. You could see that the child was helping the mother to sweep an estate that this woman clearly stays, the woman who made the video. And she put the video on social media saying that what the woman did was wrong, is child labor and exploitation, and that children need to be protected at all costs, and people need to know what child protection is all about. Now, this same woman who posted that video claims to be a child protection advocate, and she has come under fire for what she did. People were backlashing her, saying that it's a normal thing for kids to help their parents. A lot of people grew up helping their mothers to hawk, to go to shop, to do a lot of things, and there was nothing wrong with what the woman was doing, and that even putting up the video online with the face of the child and the mother was embarrassing, and it was not good at all. So we have somebody in the studio who has an authority in this subject. In fact, he's called the friend of the child because of his very strong passion for seeing that children have all the best things in the world, and their rights are actually upheld in the society. And so he's helping us to understand what this video means, if it is wrong or right. And he has a lot to say on that issue. If you have questions, you can send it to me on WhatsApp. You can call me 0201 271 0242. If you have contributions as well, I'd like to hear your view on the matter. Now, King Olakunle, you have said that the intention of the person who posted the video was good, but the way she went about the action itself is not what is right. But you do know that a lot of people actually, like one of the commenters said, that a lot of people grew up helping their mothers in their shops, hawking, and all these other things. Are you saying that that's also child labor, child abuse, and exploitation as well? Maybe under ignorance.
Anything under ignorance, I mean, ignorance is not an excuse under the law. So
Okay.
by child rights, hawking is an abuse, is an exploitation. It
Mm,
is child labor.
mm,
Because it's like I said,
mm,
that's why I gave that definition. That any act, any behavior, any action that endangers the child's development, the child's health. You know that putting a child out there to go and hawk endangers the child's safety, because that child could
mm,
be kidnapped. That child could be knocked down by an oncoming vehicle. I mean, a lot of things. I've
mm,
seen a child, I mean, about seven or not even more than that, I think about 10 years ago. I mean, I was around Dagada and I saw a child who was hawking okra. And I was looking at that okra, the small quantity of okra that the child was hawking. That's what I was looking at in her eye, and I was imagining. I mean, lo and behold, before I knew, the child fell into the gutter and she had fracture on that day. And
Hmm.
you look at the quantity of okra that child was carrying, and you can imagine the child has sustained an injury and eventually had fracture just because
Hmm.
somebody does not care whatever is going to happen to the child. Just because we're only concerned about,
But is
yes.
it but is it really because people do not care, or because maybe the parents
Can you hear me? I can't hear you actually. If you can hear me, I can't hear you. Hello, can you hear me?
you
Recording
can
recording in progress.
R1271024.
Can you
If you
hear me
have
now?
questions, if you have contributions on the show. Yeah, I think I can hear you now. Thank you. I lost you for a second there.
Okay, you're asking a question that is it about, I think that's when
Yeah.
I lost you.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying that, do you think is because these people do not care about the children, or could it just be that because sometimes there are situations where maybe the parents are financially, incapacitated, if there's a word like that, or maybe some of these people, yeah, their parents actually have some kind of disabilities, and that's the reason why they cannot cater for them per se. And so the kids on the street doing these things are just like the only way they can actually put food on the table, not because the parents do not care. Does that actually count for something at least? Like in the case of this woman, what if she did not have a choice? There was nobody to leave her child with. I mean, we live in a society where nobody can be trusted anymore. So the best place your child can be is actually, within around
Re-
you.
Remember, the activists did not meet the child seated somewhere, just watching the mother. The person met the child
Okay.
sweeping along with the mother. So if it was about safety of the child, the mother should have could,
Mm,
okay, just sit here while I watch you while I sleep. You understand? And
mm,
then, okay, just sleep here because you are still a child and still supposed to, and because we really come under under the cover of, oh, the parent does not have the wherewithal, the parent is not rich
mm.
enough, the parent lack the capacity, and
Financially
they do
equipped to
this,
take care of the child.
they
Yes.
and because it is under that cover that a lot of people abuse children, expose children, and because we have not been able to stamp our feet on ground and say that whatever is abuse, we cannot tolerate irrespective of the reason. Then when we get to that level,
Mm,
when we all stamp our feet on ground and say this cannot continue, then we will now know that it is our responsibility. And I mean, more importantly, we push government to do what is needful for indigent parents, such
mm,
that they will not have to now engage their children in in child labor just because of survival. And I think the first question that you asked
mm,
is that is it because they don't care? And my answer over the years has always been that there is less value we place on children. We don't really place
mm,
value on children. We don't really see the importance of children. We don't even see that future that child belongs to. Many parents are not seeing that child as the person who is going to take over from them. So they are just seeing that little being that can be used anyhow, or that can be engaged in it. They don't see, we are not able to see that because if it's our gold, we keep it clearly, we keep it very safe. But our children, we expose them anyhow to anything and everything. And that shows how much we value our gold or our jewelry more than the children. Because if it
mm,
is, I'm sure that if it is something that we value so much, even though you need money as a mother, you remember or you remind yourself of the dangers that are out there, or as a father, you remind yourself of the dangers out there where there are kidnappers, where there is drink and drunk what do we call them? Drunk and drunken drivers
mm.
who can
People who
run.
drink, yeah, drink and
Yes,
drive.
so there are people like that. um there are other people who will do so many, who can do so many things just for children, We have cases of sexual
Mm.
assault, sexual abuse of
Of
children.
course.
We have cases,
Of course.
instances where children join cultism, cult groups while hawking because children even form bad gangs as a result of that. Some
So are
children,
you also, are you
some,
saying
some
that
I'm sorry,
some
let me say this.
children have
Some,
not?
some children even readily want to go to the streets. They want to tell their parents, let me go and hawk because they know that some set of people are waiting for them out there to go and meet them and play around and
Wow.
join different gangs.
Wow.
So there is danger,
Wow.
serious danger in engaging our children in hawking.
Mm.
You know, what I usually
Yeah.
encourage, for safety. Yeah, even if you are very, very poor, and then you need to engage your child along with you to come along with you. You can
Mm.
put your trade somewhere, your goods somewhere, and let the child stand by it, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you ask adults around to monitor the child for you. Why you now go ahead and go and hawk your goods? Or sometimes you can even take the child along with you. The child may even be see that the child you want to let you may let I mean just for the child to see the dignity that is in labor. You know, there are several
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
endangering our
Exactly.
children,
Yes.
there are
Exactly.
several ways. We cannot continue to give these excuses because it's even increasing. You see 5-year-old children carrying
But King
chair
Olakunle,
on
don't
their head.
would you say that, because you have said a lot of things, but again, are there not parents who have actually tried to protect their children from all these vices, sexual abuse, exploitation? But regardless, these children have actually fallen into the wrong hands, even though
Yeah,
the
yeah,
parents are, strict and all of that. Yeah, I mean, it still happens regardless. So,
yes,
I mean,
I'm not saying even in countries where we have excellent laws
mm,
protecting children,
yeah,
children still get abused.
yeah,
So the essence of this is to say
yeah.
that we do our own part. We will not say because children get
Okay,
abused
okay.
in those society, the society will not
Regardless,
relax.
yeah,
Will not relax. Okay, look at
yeah, yeah,
what happened in the UK with a job. I mean, with some people who bring in children to that country, even though they don't have their nationality
yeah,
who I mean for organ harvesting, but they know that some people bring their children from other countries. Yes, but they put in law structure
mm,
to ensure that when you come in here, even though you cannot do it to our children, but other children that are coming in, that will not it will not be done to them. So that way we will not say
yeah.
because yes, still
So,
children still get abused, then we allow it to continue
it's
without
for me, it's the passion in your voice every time you talk about these things. I can see how passionate you are about this thing. And that's the reason why we do this, because we need to be on the same side. We all have to understand that it's a communal thing. It's not a fight for one person or one person. We all have to come together. And if we have the same understanding, it makes the work easy. And with on the sound of your voice, I feel like I can sense you saying this fight is not a thing that everybody is doing, because you're saying that we will push the government. Are we alone in this fight for protecting the child? What's the government doing? Nothing?
yeah,
What are the plans? I mean,
the
in this
government is
situation, what is the penalty
the
for?
government is not doing enough because there are laws, there are punishment that will be meted out for for child labor. There are punishment
Mm,
in sections
mm,
of the child rights Act. But but even some government officials will be the one giving reasons why the child should be
mm,
used for this, or even my people. I mean, people in the civil society, they will even be the one to give reasons, and we cannot continue this way. If you want a protective
mm.
environment for our children, we cannot just continue this way. So if we all agree that this
Wow.
is abuse, that means we will now begin to look at
Mm,
how we can support ourselves. Okay, how can I support that mother? I
mm,
don't buy things from children hawking. I don't buy because
mm.
I know that children will
Wow.
go back home not making money. But I know that one day that parent will be forced to go on the street and go and hawk by him or herself. And so I will buy from the
So are
parent.
you saying that is something we all can start doing? We should start
Exactly,
buying from kids who are
exactly.
hawking.
Yeah, it is difficult, but it's
Wow.
something that if
Wow.
we do that and the parents know that when your children come to work, we are not buying from you. But when you come to work by yourself, we will buy from you, we'll still give you extra change because you
Mm,
are working as an adult.
mm.
We know that
Okay,
you are
that
what
sounds
you are
like a
doing
good protest.
we know that you are doing that for your child or for your children. So we will
Okay.
support you. Not that
Okay.
you push your children to the car park and go and be hawking there. You push your children to
Mm,
to different places just because, and you will be seated at
mm,
home, cross your leg, or go to parties there where your child go out to hawk.
mm.
No, I mean, at this child, at children,
Okay.
we should be
Okay.
also for them. We should make provisions for them, not the other way around. Thank you.
Mm. To take care of them, not them taking care of us. Thank you so much, King Olakunle, again for joining us today on the show and educating us. You do so much for the children, especially in Nigeria. And thank you, because I'm somebody's child too. Thank you for all the work you put in to
Adult child.
make sure that, yeah, adult child. Thank you for all the work you do to make sure that the voice of the child is heard. God bless
Uh,
you. Thank you so much. Maybe next
thank
week,
you.
Friday, we'll continue because we've been talking about abuse and we have not even touched,
Nothing,
a lot
nothing.
of
We have not touched
things.
nothing. We are still
As
here.
in, hopefully, next week we can do this. Thank you so much for
And
joining us again. Have a
addi-
lovely day.
in addition, please tell your listeners. So this is the Child Abuse Prevention Month. They should please take one step to ensure that they prevent. Talk to somebody about what we have been saying and educate somebody around them
Hmm.
about child abuse. It will go a long way in preventing child
Awesome.
abuse.
Oh, I
Thank you.
never knew that. Okay, that's good. So the month of April is Child Protection Month.
Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month.
Okay, Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month. Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
that's maybe we'll talk about that next week. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
joining us once
You're
again.
welcome.
Have a lovely day.
You too.